Hey friends, welcome back to another video. If you're new here, my name is Melissa and welcome. I'm so glad that you're with me today and you're joining me on today's video. In today's video, we are going to tackle 3 different areas and we're going to decorate my hutch, my shoe bin area, and then my coffee bar. Now, I filmed these videos in at least 2 different videos, but as you can see, I am moving in slow motion here. Yes, every piece of footage that I did on both of these videos, I did in slow motion. Guys, on this camera that I have, it is so easy to hit that button and not even realize you hit the button. And then when I come back here to edit, I see myself moving in slow motion. I see myself talking and I'm like, you can't hear a thing. It's all in slow motion. Oh, it's so frustrating for me, but I didn't want to scrap the footage because this was footage that this was before we were able to move up anything that had rugs in the house. So we were able to move up like the regular pieces of furniture and the totes of like all of the decor and things like that. So I thought, well, I can't bring up the rugs or the table or anything that goes on rugs, so I'll go ahead and film these videos of me decorating these spaces. Yeah, and so I kind of messed it all up, guys. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna at least show you and walk you through what I did. I'll speed up some of it. I won't let it all go like I'm moving like a sloth over here, but I'll show you guys a little bit of what I come up with. And then while I was decorating, we are still in June. So July 4th is right around the corner. So I figured I would go ahead and put a few little pieces of, Americana decor out and a little bit of red, white, and blue. So I just add a few touches to these areas. Nothing major, nothing much, but I figured I would go ahead and do that while I'm decorating these spaces. So, that's what we're going to do today. We're just going to decorate these spaces together. So we're going to get started over here on this shoe bin. And in this part of the video, I was showing you guys, I had kind of set out all of the things that I was going to use. You might even see my hand come through a time or two, just pointing at stuff, talking, because I was talking through this, but you can't hear any of it. But this is all of the items that I had picked that I was going to use in the shoe area. So we're going to get started with this little runner that I had purchased at a thrifting event that I went to with my sister-in-law and my nieces. This is double-sided. You can use both sides. I was just showing you there where you can use either or, but I'm just placing it down on this little white shoe bin. We don't have like a mud room or anything like that, so this is the way we corral our shoes in our dining room. Just better than throwing everything inside of a basket. This lamp I'm going to use on this stand. I did not have a lamp over here before, but I thought I would try this. This is an old Longaberger lamp. I have painted it and changed it and made it a little bit darker and then gave it like the white top and then just used like a little burlap shade on there. So just to give a little lamp on this area over here, which, yeah. And the bowl, the bowl is just something that stays there. And it's a catch-all for my husband's things. Now this crock has a lot of old things that was my mother-in-law's. This was my mother-in-law's, some wooden spoons, just old trinkets and things like that. I like having those things sit in like a crock. So I'm going to place that on this stand as well. And then I normally have these 2 candlesticks over here, the taller one and the shorter one, but I'm just going to use the taller one over here this time and just use this one little candle just to give, I like both heights, the lamp and that candle are about the same height. I'm going to use these little books and just stack this little plant. I got this at Hobby Lobby. It was on like the clearance aisle at one time and I just love it. It looks very realistic. It's really flowy and just gives like a little touch of greenery. So I'm happy with that. We're going to move on up to the shelf, and I use this little copper pitcher with some greenery inside of there. We're placing this basket up here. That was my mother-in-law's with that little bit of greenery. And then in the center here, we are going to place this old syrup bottle, and then I'm going to place this cutting board to kind of hide the area where the phone jack shows on the wall. Also just a little false craft pitcher and a little basket. And then I'm going to add my little copper things that I have hanging from the little hooks underneath the shelf, and just kind of adding just a small touch of Americana and on this area over here. Nothing much, just little simple touches. The cutting board was a cutting board that was made from a friend of ours from our church. He actually mills all of that wood on his farm. And yeah, he does an amazing job. So a lot of the cutting boards I have in my house came from him. He made those. So he was actually the guy who helped us finish our kitchen the right way. So, but moving on here, this old pitcher, I had this pitcher sitting on the shelf where the shoe area was before, but I actually moved it in between. I wasn't going to put the cow picture back up, but guys, that's such a huge space there if I leave my Hutch catty-cornered, and I kind of like the Hutch catty-cornered. I do and I don't. So, but I'm going to leave it catty-cornered for now. So, with having this big space, and I don't really have a picture that I like, or have found another picture that I like, so I went ahead and hung the cow picture back up. The other picture here in between the windows, I used to have the word home. It was the H, and the O was like a wreath, and the M and the E. And I had it, vertical going down in between the two windows there. But I asked my husband when he got home what he liked best, and he likes the picture. So that picture kind of reminds him of his home growing up, and also reminds me of my home growing up, because both of our parents had that picture in their houses. So yeah, we're just going to go with that for now, and leave that in between the windows. I've already placed all of my plates on my hutch. A lot of these things are all false craft. Not all of the pieces are false craft pieces, but a good bit of them are. The two pictures at the top, I believe I purchased those at Target. They are the Hearth and Home, I believe, pictures. The plates in there are false craft. That is an old weigh scale at the top. And then this bowl was my mother-in-law's. She had a lot of this spongeware. And when she passed, I was able to get pieces passed down to me from her collection. So I try to display those proudly in my hutch and around my home in different areas. So I'm just placing this at the top just to give a little bit of blue with a little bit of greenery. And I'm just going to kind of, instead of walking you guys through each and everything and talking this entire time, I'm going to kind of play a little bit of music, and you can kind of see how I piece a few things together, because I do have to speed this up. At this point, though, this little plate, I got this at a yard sale one year, and I absolutely love it. It's got the Betsy Ross first flag, and it is so pretty. It just has all the blue and white, and I love adding it, especially in the springtime, on my hutch. Okay, one thing I did want to say here, if you have a picture that has like a writing on it or a decal or anything, and you don't want to see it, just turn it around and face it the opposite way. So if you're at a yard sale and something maybe has like a flower that you're not really a fan of, or, you know, just something printed on it, if the back side of it is completely bare, you can always turn your pictures the opposite way and still use them and display them in your displays. So just a little tip that you can always turn your pictures around. All right, so one thing I do like doing is making sure that each layer, each shelf has a little bit of greenery, a little bit of blue, a little bit of wood tones. I try to make it evened out. And you notice when I decorate, I don't decorate like one shelf at a time. I kind of bounce around, but that's kind of how I do it. And this is kind of what I came up with for just the basics. And now we're going to turn our attention and we're going to just add a little bit of red, white, and blue to this area since, you know, it is that time of year, and I'm trying to get my house put back together over here. So I just also wanted to add a little bit of my summer touches so that I can feel like I at least had some of them out for a little while. So we're going to get to doing that right now. All right, so now we're going to switch gears and we're going to go back over to the coffee bar area and we're going to set it all up. And then at the end, I will show you all three of these spaces, what they look like at the end when they're completely finished. But I did already go ahead and put the little towels that say coffee on them, on the doors. And I'd already hung up the picture that says, "In the morning when I rise, give me Jesus." And of course, my coffee mugs, I hang those up there. I had one still in the dishwasher, but yeah, the basics was already set up. So I just want to get everything put up there with all of the decorations. So we're going to get started on that right now. All right, friends, so at this point, I am just adding a few little pieces of red, white, and blue over here on my coffee bar just to give it a little bit of a summer touch as well. Adding this little flag inside of this greenery and just kind of finishing things up just a bit. Adding this other cutting board here so that it kind of fills in that space at the top. And then I'll add this little plate to that cutting board. Now, I do not have a groove in this shelf. So one tip, if you want to lean something up to like a cutting board or the wall and you don't have a groove, just place yourself like a little command adhesive strip and then stick it to the back of it, and it will help it not to, hopefully if somebody walks by, it won't fall. It'll kind of give it something to stick to the back. So this is the final reveal of how each space turned out. Thank you so much for joining me. This is going to be the end of today's video. I hope you enjoyed this video, even though I did have to speed it up and kind of talk through it, but I still wanted to show you guys what I did getting these areas set up in our home as we're slowly moving back upstairs. So thank you once again for joining me. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, do me a favor, hit that like and subscribe. Comment down below. Let me know you're here. Leave me a little heart emoji. I appreciate all those things. And Lord willing, friends, there'll be another one. Bye-bye.